Hi guys, thank you for tuning in to another LOKT video. If you've been to my channel before, you already know the deal, but if this is your first time, welcome to Life on Kiva's Terms. So today's video is going to be all about my locks. It's going to be a 4-month lock update because it's been 4 months it's been 4 months since I've been locked. It's been my 4th retwist and it's been 4 days since my lock anniversary, which was on February 3rd. It is now February 7th. But you know what? I needed some time to get myself together and to change locticians. Yes, I had to change locticians, and I will be giving you guys the tea on why I made that decision. So the loctician that I had been going to, there were just certain things that I noticed about her way of dealing with my hair that I felt she wasn't doing right by my hair, being my loctician. What do I mean by that? Well, it was tricky because when I went to her at the beginning, it was after doing quite a bit of research. She was the second loctician that I had seen for a consultation, and nothing in the consultation really gave me any red flags. She examined my hair, she took a good look at it. She told me what she thought would be the best method for me to start, which was comb coils. I wanted to start with 2-strand twists, but we talked about it and I took her recommendation, and I felt really comfortable going to her because she had so many amazing reviews on her website, and she also had an extensive list of photos on her Instagram, and I felt like, wow, there's lots of people going to her. They seem to be very satisfied. So let me go ahead and take that first step with her. First things first. She said that she did not recommend that I condition my locks until they were fully locked. And so that would take about 6 months before my hair would actually be locked. I've seen a lot of different opinions on this on YouTube, but my hair definitely missed the conditioner because in my follow-up retwists with her, I felt like I would leave the salon, my hair would feel really dry and brittle and just it felt like it needed fortification and strengthening, but maybe the dry part is going to help with the hair locking because that's what some people say, right? So I was like, okay, I can live with that. That was the first red flag. Red flag number 2, she would dry my hair with a white terry towel. No. I think most of the lock community knows that if you're going to be using a towel in my hair, then it needs to be black, not white, so that any lint that remains in my hair is not obvious. And if it's not black, at the very least, it needs to be microfiber. So I was a bit suspicious of that, but I didn't really express it too much to her because even though she seemed open to conversation with me about what I found out about locks on YouTube or, you know, exciting things that I would learn from reading blogs, at the same time, it was like in one ear and out the other, and I'm gonna do what I always do anyway. Because we talked about different things that people do in the natural hair community, like co-washing. She was like, what is that? And she said it like 3 times, and I didn't know if it was like, what is that? Like, genuinely, I don't know, explain to me what co-washing is, or if it was like a condescending, what is that? Like how Mariah Carey is like, I don't know who Ariana Grande is, like throwing shade, like I don't know. I don't know her like that, so I don't know if she's being sarcastic or funny or genuinely asking me to find out, but it didn't sound like a rhetorical question. I understand that not everything that we learn on YouTube is, you know, correct or something to stand by, but I think stylists would be silly to not acknowledge how much natural hair care has developed because of the trial and error that takes place on YouTube and on blogs, because there's so much that we've learned. Look at Tresemme that introduced the reverse process where they're conditioning before you shampoo now. Like, these are things that were discovered in the natural hair community on YouTube before any of these big corporations started doing it. And now they're capitalizing off of the knowledge that people acquired based on working with their own hair, you know, and working with other YouTubers to figure out what's the best way to manage our hair. So I felt like she was a little bit closed to that kind of discussion, which I didn't like. So the next thing that kind of threw me off was the fact that the back of my hair was not locking. It did not want to stay twisted. It was unraveling. And so I mentioned that to her. I mentioned it to her. That's one thing. Like, she did not really address it. I mentioned it to her, and she said the best thing to do would probably be to interlock my hair in the back so that it would stay. And I was like, I don't really want to interlock my hair, because moving forward, that was not something that I intended to do. I like the shape that palm rolling gives my hair. And I asked her, wouldn't that change the shape of my locks? Wouldn't that create inconsistency in my lock? And she said, no, it's just that some people don't know how to do it. And if you do it right, it'll be fine. Nothing is going to be changed in the way that your locks look. So I was like, okay, but something in me just did not sit well with that information. And I figured, let me go home, do some research, and then if my hair continues not to lock during this month, I'll go back and do the interlocking. So that was something that I brought up to the new loctician that I went to. And she said that absolutely not. I do not recommend that you interlock your hair. She has locks, and she explained to me that she started interlocking her hair for a short period of time, and it changed the shape of her lock, and it created an inconsistency in her lock. And she brought up those points without me even asking those questions. Like, she immediately went to those reasons why I shouldn't interlock my hair, and I should just be patient and keep palm rolling, and eventually it would take form and take shape and lock up in the back. Like, I can't explain to you how happy I am that I decided to get a second opinion, because I was prepared to go get that second opinion and then go right back to my original loctician, because I really believed in her. I really believed in what she was trying to do with my hair. But I figured out that, I just couldn't go back to her anymore. The last point, the straw that broke the camel's back, which is, one of the reasons why that really motivated me to see somebody else, was the fact that as my hair grows out and it becomes thicker, I'm noticing that my back locks are thicker than my front locks by quite a bit. Like, they look as though they'll be much thicker in circumference. I didn't come into the lock game expecting to have perfect locks, or perfectly symmetrical, even like same sized locks. But at the same time, I don't expect to see such a difference. So as I'm learning more about the lock to part ratio and these things from YouTube, I'm like, wait a second, the parts in the back of my hair seem quite big compared to the parts in the front of my hair. And so I was like, I need a second opinion on this, because I think that she didn't do that right. And in fairness, I went to her and I said, I don't want a brick pattern. I don't want a diamond pattern. I don't want like a defined pattern in my parting, because I want a very natural look at my roots. So she was like, oh, you mean like more of a grab and go? I was like, yes, exactly that. So I thought, okay, she's got it. She knows. She's probably done this before. I don't think she ever did it before, because now looking back and seeing the way that my locks are growing, she did grab and go, but she also was inconsistent in the size of the parts. And it's one thing to not have a pattern in your parts, and another thing to not have a consistent size in your parts, because the size of the part is what determines the size of the lock. So I was really concerned about that, and I really needed a second opinion. And the loctician that I went to today, she said, definitely your parts are inconsistent in the back. And like I said, thank goodness that's not something that's going to completely derail me and make me want to start again or anything like that. But my new loctician assured me that once my hair grows out and I start to get hang time and that kind of thing, that it's not that big a difference to be considerably noticeable as my hair grows out. So I'm just trusting in the process and moving forward, but I am not going back to that loctician. Like, lesson learned. And I'm so glad I trusted my instincts and got out of there as early as I did, because part of me wanted to be loyal and stay with her and see it through and trust in her. But I'm really glad that I made the decision to get out. I feel like I'm talking about an abusive relationship here, but it really was a good decision for me to leave her and go to this new person who I feel so much more at ease and so much more comfortable with, and who I think is much more of an advocate for the health of my locks. So that was a long story, but I think it needed to be told. If you've had a crazy experience with a loctician, please share in the comments below. Next, I'm gonna get into my hair and how it feels now after my 4th retwist. It feels absolutely great. Like, I don't have that really dry, brittle feeling. My hair feels stronger. It feels pretty soft and pliable and a lot more touchable than it did when I did my last retwist. It is thicker considerably. My last retwist looked a lot more wispy than this. I still have a lot of wispy ends because my ends haven't really started sealing yet, except for one, which I'm going to show you guys. I have one end that started to seal. It's this one. No curly end, see? All the others have like that little remnant of a curl, and this one is like, yeah, the first of the Mohicans. So yeah, I'm starting to see sealing ends. I'm still budding quite a bit. I haven't had my buds even out just yet. My locks still have these little pot bellies in them. So that's still going on, and I'm considerably fuzzy, but I don't really mind. You know, it comes with the territory, and I just love seeing my hair go through the process. And I don't know what's gonna be on the other side. I don't know what they're gonna look like, but it's a joy to see progress. I think that's it. You know, 4 months, just seeing more thickness, more budding, more of the same things, more fuzz, you know, as my locks take shape and take form. I'm gonna do a quick 360 for you guys so you can see how my hair is looking. Here are my babies. Let me turn around. Trying to make sure I stay in the frame. So there it is, guys. This is me, 4 months locked and loving it. How are you guys doing on your lock journeys? If you are on lock journeys, it's been so cool sharing on Instagram with people who have started around the same time as I have, and also with people who have been in the lock game for a few years that have started following me and I've started following them, and we've been sharing stories and experiences and just all the new awakening that we've had since we have locks. Join the conversation, guys. Comment below if you have something to share about your experience with locks or your experience with locticians, and let's make a discussion out of it, and let's be friends. Just want to thank you guys for tuning in. I am now up to 6 subscribers, and it might not be a lot to some people, but I'm really excited about it. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video. Ciao for now.